What's up, guys? I'm live from the record room. Anybody watching? Bless you. Somebody just sneezed down the hall. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear the music? Can you hear me? Can you hear the air conditioner? Hey, somebody's watching. Who's watching? Anybody? Guys, what is up? Greg here with the Vinyl Rundown. Today I'm going to go over a bunch of records I just got at the thrift store, which I'll show you. I'm going to clean them. Watching a guy clean records. What could be more compelling? Anything. Can you hear the music? I'm going to turn on the comments so you guys can talk to me. Let's see. How does this work? Anybody? Anybody watching? Come on, people. Do. Cleaning records, guys. I'm just going to clean some records. Waiting for people to join the stream. Anybody joining the stream yet? People, come on, join us. Join us here if you'd like. Oh, this record's so dirty, I should pre-wash it. It's filthy. Whatever. A guy cleaning records on the internet. La la la. La 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 la. Did I come up? Pardon? Okay, we'll just go to my channel then. Por favor. Hey guys, guy cleaning records on the internet live. How boring is that? We're cleaning records on the internet. Coming at you live from the record room. La, 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 la. And then, after we wash them, hey, who's watching, guys? Thank you for joining. I'm going to talk about some records I got at the thrift store the other day. Make a comment. Let me know you're watching, guys. Say something in the comment box. Tell me how the sound is. Can you hear the music? Can you hear my voice? This is a new experiment in broadcasting. A guy cleaning records and live broadcasting at the same time. How does it sound? Can you hear the music? What's up, guys? Show you the records I got at the thrift store. First trip to the thrift store in weeks, in months because of the COVID lockdown. I got about 12 records here, and I will show them to you as I clean them. 2/3 of them are classical. That's just where the bargains are at the thrift shops these days. This is Vivaldi Concertos for Diverse Instruments. On what record label? Vanguard. The Bach Guild. Not really a super hip label, but what do you want for $1? Okay, these were like $1.50. So after I spin clean them, I give them the old wipe down. How do they look? And then I stick them in the drying rack. Can you see the drying rack? I remove the drying rack so it's on camera a little bit. Drying rack. There's the drying rack. It's a letter rack. Make some comments, guys. Let me know who's out there. Not a lot of you, apparently. Nobody wants to watch a guy clean records on the internet. Why is that a surprise? Why is that a surprise? Is this good content? I'm not sure that it is. How about Glenn upside down? How about Glenn Gould, the great piano player, doing some Beethoven piano concerto? How about it? Why not? Okay, Glenn Gould. What label is this? Columbia? Guys, let me know you're out there. Let me see you in the comments. Hey, Empty Glass. Empty Glass says I sound all right. The music is a little muffled. I could turn up the music. I don't want to get any copyright hit, so I got some very soft jazz in the background. I'm turning it up. Don't move. course, as soon as I go to turn up the music, it's a bass solo. My luck. So David Newton is joining us. Hi, David. Thanks for joining. Empty Glass says, I sound okay. How effective is the SpinClean? I will get into that. He got a free box of old records today. Gonna see what's worth keeping and then clean them. The SpinClean is about the cheapest solution for 70, 80 bucks. I did 2 videos on the SpinClean, and one problem with the SpinClean is you're washing in dirty bath water. As soon as you wash 2 records, the water starts getting dirtier and dirtier. So be careful with that in terms of making sure the water's clean. But old thrift shop records, I think it's perfect. Sometimes I pre-clean them, wash the dust, wipe the dust off of them if they're really filthy. You'll see the water get really filthy and you got to change the water. You're supposed to change directions. I always forget to do that. Change directions. Not that the record groups care, but the brushes that are cleaning it, you don't want them to get matted down going one way or the other. So you loosen up the bristles. And we are cleaning a Glenn Gould Beethoven piano concerto record. And I like to just let it sit and drip dry. How's the music now? Is it too loud, guys? Now that the sax is on and the guitar, it was a little soft during the bass solo. This is some rare indie jazz thing that is not copyright likely. You know, you guys can join me. If somebody really wants me to email you a link, you could join me and we could talk together, but feel free to chat also. Okay, drip dry, give it the shake. You guys know about the shake. And then I stick it on the towel and give it a couple of wipes. Again, these are just thrift shop records. These are not valuable Blue Notes or anything. These are not even valuable. Some of these records I get for $1 or $2. And that's even more than they're worth half the time. But, all right, dry it, stick it on the shelf, on the drying rack. I got the drying rack thing going over here. Okay, what's next? I got 5 people watching. David Newton, Empty Glass. Who else is out there? Say hi, guys. Okay, I'll show you a cool record. It's not super cool, but it's PDQ Bach. He's a hilarious, he's like a comedy guy. Got this for 99 cents the other day. What's on here? The Intimate PDQ Bach doing Hansel and Gretel and Ted and Alice, an opera in one unnatural act. And let's see, the Erotica Variations for band instruments, and the Art of the Ground Round for 3 baritones and discontinuo. It's very nerdy comedy. And this one's got a gatefold. This is beaten up. The seams are falling apart. Oh, shoot. Okay, this record is so filthy it should have been pre-dusted, but whatever. Cheap records. David Newton, what's he saying? Greg, you are wearing a Fender shirt. I just got my first telly after being a guitar player for 40 years. I had a 72 Strat that I bought for $200 and I got rid of when I was in high school because I needed a Van Halen guitar, which was a big mistake. So I have a recent Strat that I bought, which is it's a special series, Texas pickups and American Standard series with the, what do you call the natural shellac, not the new poly coat. Love the body, don't like the jumbo frets, don't like the pickups. So that's my real Strat. Then I got some Esquires. I've been a Strat guy most of my life because I started out in guitar with Clapton and Hendrix and that sort of thing. And just recently I got a Telecaster, which somebody found at a garage sale for $40. It's a mid-70s Japanese copy. It looks great. The action is terrible. I haven't been playing enough guitar lately. But since you asked, David, what's your story with guitars, David? Are you a guitar player, Strat, Telly, whatever? I'm going to show you my other guitar real quick. Don't move. It's right here. This is the Van Halen's Frankenstrat with Seymour Duncan split coil, Fender, Gibson humbucker, Kahler, whammy bar, Warmoth neck, Custom made by, who's it made by? Custom made by a little guitar shop in Reseda, California called Harmony Guitars. Back in the era of Valley Arts guitar, it's no longer there. I wish I would have kept my Strat, but I traded my 72 Sunburst. What do you call it? It's that really nice wood. Tiger Eye Maple. I should have kept that. The Telly I got, I'm thinking of turning it into a 5-string Keith Richard open G tuning, because that's all Keith plays. I know a bunch of Rolling Stone songs that are in open G tuning Keith Richard style. You only have to use 2 fingers. It's great. Brown Sugar, all those tunes. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do with my Telly. What else do I got here? Let's see if I can show you something that's not classical, guys. Lots of classical. Lots of classical. That's what you can find at the thrift stores for cheap, guys. Is lots of classical. Okay, here's a jazz record I got yesterday for $1.50. Really old. I think it's probably 1954 mono. This is an English pressing. George Shearing, the piano player, a Shearing Caravan. Get it, Caravan. He plays the tune Caravan. It's very cocktail-y sounding. There's a lot of vibraphones and stuff like that. I listened to it today after cleaning it with the dust brush thing. It sounded terrible. I should have cleaned it first. MGM is a weird record label. They did a lot of stuff on 78 too. This is mono, obviously. There was no stereo when this came out. This thing needs to be super deep cleaned. Brown Sugar. We're talking Rolling Stone songs with David Newton there. In terms of what you can play with the open G tuning, Brown Sugar, Happy, what's the Linda Ronstadt one? Honky Tonk Woman, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Tumbling Dice, a lot of great Rolling Stone tunes that are open G tuning. I already said Honky Tonk Woman. They're all very similar. Start Me Up. But once you learn the open G tuning, it's so easy, and now you really start to sound like when Keith made it sound. Okay, SpinClean. You're supposed to go 3 complete rotations one side and then rotate 3 complete rotations the other side. And I never count. I always forget how many rotations I've done. So I'm just rotating. So SpinClean, guys, be sure and use distilled water, not tap water. This stuff is dirt cheap. It's like 89 cents a gallon or something. SpinClean fluid. This is my second bottle. It is empty. There's like 1 cap left. I think I'm going to go to using Kodak Photo Flow, which I have a bunch of in the garage because I used to have a dark room, which I haven't set up in 20 years. Anybody want a dark room? And larger and all that dark room stuff. Okay, I also put some alcohol in here. Rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol. So then I let it drip dry, just kind of set it up. If you look carefully, the water sort of drip dry. Let that sit there for a while. Why do you let it drip dry? Why don't you just start wiping it down? Well, I want the water level to stay level in here. I don't want the water level to just go down, 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 down. So the more water you stick on your towels, the wetter your towels get, which means they don't dry very well, and you lose your water. So let it drip dry for a while. If the record's clean, it'll sheet really nicely. This one is not. So I'm letting it split like the, what do you call that? That Bible thing, the Red Sea. I just parted the stream of water like the Red Sea, and then it should sheet down in 2 separate halves. So the music sounds okay, guys. It's just super mellow jazz. It doesn't have a copyright hit because it's a super independent label. Mundell Lowe on guitar. One of those independent releases that probably sold 3 copies. My latest 2 Blue Note acquisitions on the back wall there, you guys. Are you going to remove the low E like Keith? I was thinking of doing that because when I play it, I have a Fender Squire hooked up in the G tuning, and that low E does get in the way. So I can remove it, but answer me this, David Newton. Does Keith Richards, does he actually reconfigure the nut to only handle 5 strings, or is it 5 strings crowded over here and then an empty nut chunk? An empty nut slot is the word. We're talking about Keith Richards' open G tuning guitars because David noticed my Fender t-shirt. Okay, so I cleaned this and it's got a chunk of paper stuck here where my thumb is. I don't know if you can see that. Little white chunk of paper. So that you have to get out the big guns. You have to get out the fingernail and try to peel that off. Yep, it's gone. Bits of paper get stuck to vinyl. This is over 50 years old. This is 1954. How old is that? Anybody can do math here? Is that 66 years old? Putting in the drawing rack, guys. Don't panic. I got 4 records in the drawing rack so far. We just cleaned George Shearing, the George Shearing Quintet. You can tell this is a UK pressing because of this weird fold-over tab here and super shiny stock. Actually, the plastic laminated cover's coming off. I saw this for $1.50 at the thrift store yesterday. Thought it was valuable. I go online today. I see like 20 copies for under $10. So not super valuable. George Shearing, nice mellow cocktail type jazz. What else do I have here? I got a lot of classical, so I'm going to try to show something that's not classical. Well, I can't show 2 non-classicals in a row. David says he's not sure if Keith reconfigured his guitar or not. I don't know either. Okay. More classical. Herbert von Karajan. Maybe consider the greatest conductor. He's actually one of the most recorded people in history. He's got something like 400 million records sold that he conducted. He didn't play on any of them. He was on Angel before he was on Deutsche Grammophon. There's a lot of dust on this thing. Angel Records. This comes with a nice paper sleeve, branded with Angel Records. Karajan conducts overtures, Weber, Mendelssohn, and Wagner. I don't know this music. I just grabbed it because it was in the stack. The one Goodwill that opened up by my house had they had a big crate of classical music that just had come in. Very clean stuff, but kind of budget stuff. Let's see. David has a Hendrix Monterey Strat and a second Mexican Strat. I like the Mexican Strats. They're better than the Squires, certainly, and they're less expensive than the American mades. I honestly would trade the American made I have now for a Mexican made one that was configured to my liking because it's got jumbo frets, which I don't like. And what else does it have? It has Texas Stevie Ray Vaughan style Texas pickups, which are too hot. I'd rather a thinner, more stratty sound. Love Stevie Ray, but that's not totally my playing style. Let me move Conran out of the way here. What year is this? I have no idea. 1962. Beautiful antiques from before I was born. David Newton is still on here. Who else is on here, guys? Say hi. David Newton's doing 90% of the talking. I am live streaming using StreamYard, not Zoom. StreamYard, you got to pay for. And the quality is supposedly better. And I can do funky things like this with StreamYard. I can show other. I got a website open about a movie I saw yesterday. I might talk about later, and which was about records. Believe it or not, I saw a movie yesterday about records called Juliet Naked. Julie is not naked in the movie, by the way. I'll talk about that later if there's any interest. But I'm just showing you the features of StreamYard. I'm trying to do this left-handed, guys. Oh, I'm going to show you what else StreamYard can do. Banners. What about me? What about promoting myself? My YouTube channel. You guys probably know my YouTube channel because you're watching it right now. I also just added Vinyl Rundown on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. Tell me what your Instagram is, guys. There is a very vibrant vinyl community on Instagram. And I want to get some of those guys on my channel because they have some amazing collections. There's people on Instagram that are not on YouTube, obviously, that have really amazing collections. So let me know if you guys are on Instagram, and I will be happy to follow everybody on the vinyl community on YouTube and on Instagram. So anyway, YouTube, Vinyl Rundown. I also added Twitter under the same name, Vinyl Rundown, so I can sort of cross-pollinate. I don't know, maybe I'll get more views. Going into the drawing rack. Okay, who's next? Let me go back to the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. David Newton, empty glass. What kind of amp do you have? He's in the market for a new amp and a CD player on a tight budget. I think I have 4 amps in this house. You're talking guitar amps, not stereo amps. Right over here is a PV with a 15-inch tweed color. What brand? I mean, what model is it? I don't know. It's some kind of bluesy tube thing. I have PV. I have a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe that has been further hot rodded with a special, what's that thing called? The big heavy metal thing, not regulator. Transformer. It's been hot rodded with an aftermarket transformer. Neither of these are good first amps. I have a crate amp, which is a very cheapo one, inexpensive. Don't recommend that either. And then we just got my son a Fender bass amp, which is solid state. So I have 3 tube amps, and then my son has a solid state bass amp. If I were buying an amp today for the first time, I would probably look at Black Star. A lot of the new youngsters out there. Sorry? He's asking about stereo amps now? One of my many viewers just said he's talking about stereo amps, not guitar amps. Thank you. Thank you, viewing community. I just talked for 5 minutes without watching I can talk forever, so I'm sorry. Stereo amps. I hate to admit that I have not. What if I told you I had 5 stereos in this house with 5 turntables? I would be lying because I have 7 stereos with 7 turntables in this house. And I'm very into vintage receivers, and that's a great way to go for on a low budget. This is a Toshiba that I bought in college that it's okay. I'm thinking of replacing it. These vintage receivers are nice. They sound nice. They're compact, but they got problems. They develop problems. They get the noisy when you turn the volume knob. And you can get in there and clean that with contact cleaner, but it's a pain in the neck to take the thing apart and put it back together. So Mr. Empty Glass is asking about stereo amplifiers. I follow a lot of YouTube channels about hi-fi equipment, and I would advise you to do that. There's a lot of heated debate out there. Should you go vintage? Should you go new? Should you go what's called AB configuration or D class? There's class A, there's class AB, and then there's D class. Class A is really expensive. You can't afford it. $1,000 to $10,000 an amp. AB is really common. Most stuff out there is AB, except nowadays we have these compact. They're not digital, but they're digital-ish technology. I just bought my first D-class amp by Peachtree, and that's what's called an integrated amp. It has the preamp and the amplifier and the volume knob all in one box. But if I were buying an integrated amplifier today, I would look at brands like Emotiva. We're talking low budget here. Emotiva. I'm actually looking at a Denon that I might be getting for $200 or $300. Yamaha is a great place to start. Vintage Yamaha is great. It's absolutely beautiful stuff. But the current new Yamaha stuff, you can probably start at $299, $399 to get a really nice integrated amp. If you're listening to records, you need a phono amp. A lot of new amps don't accommodate record players because they don't have the right kind of preamplification. So check if Denon has that. Did I say Denon? I meant Yamaha. You guys should watch some of these hi-fi channels on YouTube. There's a million of them out there. Maybe I'll pull some up on the screen. What am I cleaning? I cleaned this record. I didn't even tell you what it was. Vivaldi Concerto for Two, something, blah, blah, blah. Look at a thrift store. Vivaldi, why not? I like to listen to that type of stuff in the morning, getting ready for work. I turned off AM Crazy Talk Radio to not drive myself nuts in the morning and just listen to classical music when I'm getting ready, shaving, etc. Morning routine. So, Empty Glass is asking about stereo amps. I would like to show you guys some of the cool hi-fi channels that are out there, if I could think of any of them. Maybe I'll Google this while we're watching. I think it's called Zero Fidelity. Zero Fidelity. Yeah, Zero Fidelity. There's a guy named Sean on Zero Fidelity. Sean at Zero Fidelity reviews a lot of inexpensive equipment. He did a couple of reviews on the Yamaha stuff. He did a review on the speakers that I bought recently, the Buchard S400s. Really cool, down-to-earth guy, independent guy, just works out of his house. But if you're wanting to research hi-fi equipment, besides just spending 2 seconds asking me, you got to do some research. So if you want to read Stereophile, which I do, but that's like kind of too advanced because it's all this really expensive equipment. Zero Fidelity, and I'm trying to remember the names of some of the hi-fi channels I watch. Joe and Tell is a cool guy that I know, has a nice channel. He's making a living from his YouTube channel, reviewing audio equipment, and he's really aimed at the budget introductory person. So Joe and Tell, like show and tell. Tell him I sent you. I hung out with him at the Hi-Fi show in Long Beach last year. He did a room just for budget introductory hi-fi stuff. And check out Joe and Tell's channel. Check out the Audiophiliac with Steve Gutenberg. Audiophiliac. He puts up a video every single day. And sometimes he reviews $10,000 amplifiers, and sometimes he reviews $300 amplifiers. Lots of great stuff. But if you're building a stereo around vinyl, and you got a vintage record player, you might as well get a vintage receiver, like a Marantz or a Pioneer. Those are kind of expensive. Kenwood, the old Yamaha silver faces, beautiful and sound great. I've got several vintage receivers that I've got for between $10 and $40 at thrift stores and garage sales. They usually need to be serviced, so be careful. Is the music too loud, guys? Does it sound all right? Drip dry. If you're just tuning in, you are watching a guy clean records on YouTube with SpinClean. A first in broadcasting. I don't think anybody's ever made people sit through watching vinyl records being cleaned. I think it's one step above watching paint dry. That sounded like a tick in the record. Did you hear that? Guys, my record rack is almost full here. Check. I've cleaned, 8 records? 8 records. Check out what I bought at the thrift store yesterday. I don't think needs cleaning. A cassette. They had a great collection of cassettes at the Goodwill yesterday, all 80s stuff. Even earlier. But since my son is a Devo maniac, I got him this. Does not need cleaning. The cassette is intact. I've got a cassette player. I'll show you my cassette player. Do you care? I don't know if you care. It's hidden behind the record rack. Can you see it? On top there? Yeah, found it in the street. Yeah, seriously. Okay, cleaning more records here. What did we just clean? Cleaned Bach harpsichord music. This is a budget label. Treasury series is low budget, so that would have been like $4 or $5 new. London, certainly a great record label, but the budget series stuff is. Here's another one. There's like this whole collection of budget stuff, but all really clean. Treasury series budget stuff means maybe it wasn't the world-class performer, maybe it wasn't the top-notch guy, maybe it was an older recording. What is this? Schubert quartets. This record is really clean. I'm not even sure it needs cleaning, but it's got a little dust on it. So, Mr. Empty Glass, do you have a YouTube channel? Because I'm not sure if I'm familiar with you. David Newton, I know. He follows me on Instagram. His Instagram is Unsightly Vinyl. I think I just started following you. I know that name. I've watched something from you recently. I can't remember what it was. I missed a comment about the Epiphone Les Paul and E339. Les Pauls are heavy, yes. Especially with my back. ES339, I know what a 335 is. And I've got a cheap Japanese copy of an ES175, popularized by both Pat Metheny and Ted Nugent. What's a 339? All those 33s are kind of variants of each other with maybe different pickup configurations and stuff. Having some iced coffee to keep me going in the afternoon. 31 minutes. You guys are hanging in 31 minutes watching a guy clean vinyl records. Hats off to you guys. Empty Glass says he enjoys music talk and would watch a guy cleaning records. Well, thank you. I've done a couple other videos on spin cleaning, and they were actually really pretty popular. Because when you see the search engines with a product name like SpinClean or whatever speakers, there's a lot of people searching for that stuff. So I was going to clean records today anyway, guys. And I thought, why not throw on the live stream and see what happens? Why not? I'm going pretty quick here. Ugh. My rack is like full. I still got just as many records that haven't been cleaned yet. So what do we do? I don't know. This is actually my favorite record of the bunch, Haydn Piano Sonatas. I've been listening to that in the morning. On the None Such label, which is now a big independent label with Black Keys and Wilco. The vinyl's not in here, it's on the turntable. So it might forget to get cleaned. I thought I could get your guys' comments to show up on the screen here. I want to mess with this. Take my name off here. And how do I get all these comments to get on screen? Anybody know? Of course you don't know. Shift videos up for comments and banners. Okay, what does that mean? I wanted the comments to show up and scroll so you guys could see them. I thought I could do that. Comments. Click on a comment to show it on screen. Check it out, guys. See if this works. That's how it works. Duh. I'm learning how to use this. See that? I can get all your... Uh-oh. I think David's leaving us. David signed off. Guys, check out David at Unsightly Vinyl. And that's cool. I didn't know I could do that. I thought they were going to scroll automatically. What kind of amp do you have? I told them about the receivers. I didn't tell them what I have. I've got a Sonograph Conrad Johnson, really valuable. Not millions, but it's $700 or $800 for just a 2-channel amp. It's not a preamp. I got a bunch of CD players. CD players break, so I buy them at the Goodwill. I just bought another Sony 5-disc at the Goodwill not too long ago. This is cool, guys. What a cool feature that is. I didn't know I could do it. I'm just learning. David has an Epiphone Les Paul. David got sick of me and ran off. Mr. Empty Glass says, he already saw my other video on the SpinClean. He might get one. The painter's edge is a good idea. So you can do the painter's edge thing with a couple of towels. You don't even need to buy the SpinClean, but I bought it, so I'm using it. Who else just joined us, guys? We're cleaning a bunch of thrift shop records. These were $1 or so at the Goodwill in the last couple of days. Mstislav Rostropovich doing the Dvorak cello concerto. I probably have 3 recordings of this piece of music already. Wipe off the dust before shoving it SpinClean so the SpinClean doesn't get too dusty. I haven't checked the water. It's probably filthy. So what did Empty Glass say? He watched my video. He uses a painter's edge and then a small wet vac. I need to get a wet vac. I got a big wet vac for the garage, but not one that's appropriate to bring in the house. They're really freaking noisy. Don't forget to change directions after the SpinClean. La, la, la. And if you guys check out these new Blue Note releases, 80th anniversary, those are not Tone Poets. Those are a little bit less expensive than the Tone Poets. The Tone Poets are $35. These are like $22, $23. And really nice pressings. Way better than the 75th anniversary. We're letting it drip dry now. This is cool that I can put your comments on screen. I love that. What just happened? Did you hear that, guys? That was the power supply to my phono preamp. Just got jostled. Sorry. Who else is watching, guys? Feel free to comment. Just let me know you're there. Empty Glass is there. He's been commenting. Thank you. You give the shake. Everybody knows about the shake. Lay it on the towel. Nice, clean terry cloth towel. Press it into the towel. Sucks up the water on the back. And then give it a couple of wipes. What's on here? I see it. I see some sort of flaw. What is all that about? I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys. How many people? We got 4, maybe 5 people. Watching a guy SpinClean records. My record rack is full. Now I gotta lean it against the record rack. It's dangerous. And we're hearing the same record on repeat over and over and over. Why not? I still got a bunch of records. Okay, here's a rare one. Most of the stuff I got was really basic, classical. This one, rare and avant-garde and 20th century. New Sounds from Paris. Betsy Jolas, never heard of her. Here's the reason I got this record, because it has Xenakis on it. Ioannis Xenakis. Frank Zappa calls Xenakis one of his favorite composers. So this is a piano piece that I've never heard. But this is very sort of avant-garde, weirdo, modern, 20th century classical. Xenakis. What can we say about Xenakis? Born in 1922 in Romania. I thought he was Greek. He's Romanian like me. 1/4 Romanian. Was a French citizen still alive when this record came out? In what year? No idea. Anyway, do you guys ever check out the weird 20th century modern classical? Maybe kind of hard on the ears, like free jazz. If you can handle free jazz, you could probably handle that record. I'm going to show you something cool about my SpinClean in just a second. Here. It's like 95 degrees where I live, and it's hot in this house, and I got a big giant light on. I actually have a professional studio lighting over here. My son got me for Christmas because he knows I love making videos. So it makes me look very flat when I get up close. Washed out and flat. This is what I really look like. Can't really adjust this. I'm cleaning records on YouTube, and people are watching. Amazing. I let it dry. While it's drying, I'm going to show you something about the SpinClean. The SpinClean cleans on these little hubs, and there's a little rubber thingy on here. I'm going to show you the other ones better. There's 2. SpinClean comes with a little rubber thing in the middle here, and it's like a rubber band. And as the record does this on it, what do you call that? Makes contact with it, the thing wears out and breaks and falls apart. So I actually replaced this with some O-rings I got at the what do you call it? Hardware store. So these are little rubber O-rings that I added because if you try to replace this piece with SpinClean, they went $20 for a pair. Well, the hubs are fine, but it's the little rubber O-rings that wear out. So just go to Home Depot and buy in the plumbing department these little O-rings. I added 3 to this one. They're really hard to stretch, but keep your SpinClean going forever. Check out the O-ring. Okay, the drip. Gotta have a drip. Press it in. Give it a press. Soak up the water on the back. Now you've got a half-dried side. Give it a little wipe. And another wipe. That's it. That's all there is to it. You are spin cleaning. Okay, how dirty is the water? Water's getting dirty, guys. 10 to 12 records is usually as far as you can go. Who else is watching? Who else is here? What else is going on, guys? What are you guys watching during the COVID? Are you guys watching any cool live streams? How dirty is the water? Well, if I tried to show it to the camera, I would flip it and pour it all over the keyboard, but it's murky. These records were clean to begin with, and the water is getting murky. But since these are cheap classical records, I'm going to keep going. Water's starting to get murky. And when you see a lot of black stuff floating in the water, it's time to change it. I'm so low on SpinClean solution. What's this? Vivaldi 6 concertos. Hadn't heard of this, but Vivaldi for $1, why not? And this is on another budget label, Archive Resonance, which is part of London? I don't know. It's a cheap label. It's a sub-label of a bigger label. Yeah, I think it's part of London. It's part of DGG. You see the little bunch of tulips up there? That's from the Deutsche Grammophon label. So this is actually a German pressing. So a very good label on a German pressing, but budget. When they say budget, they still mean nice vinyl. They still got the nice plastic insert. It's just not a super popular piece of music. 6 concertos from Vivaldi. Most people haven't heard of that. If you like Vivaldi, if you don't know Vivaldi, 4 Seasons is the piece to get. So here's a good version of 4 Seasons. We'll clean that in a bit. Who else is on here? We got 2 new people. Miles from the UK. Guess what, guys? You're live, Miles. Miles from the UK. Hi, Miles. Thanks for joining us. Missy from Houston is joining us. I'm not sure if I know you guys. I'm not sure you guys have channels. I appreciate you watching and subscribing, but if you don't have channels, I might not know you that well. Cleaning a bunch of classical records I got at the Goodwill and listening to some jazz in the background and cleaning them with the SpinClean. That is so cool that I finally figured out how to get your comments on screen like that. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for saying hi. Thank you for subscribing if you subscribe. What are you guys listening to during the lockdown? And what records have you guys bought lately? Besides all this classical stuff, I got these 2 Blue Notes recently. I should talk about those. Larry Young, the organist, fantastic. I discovered him in the last few years. Thick, rich organ sound with the great Grant Green on guitar, Elvin Jones on drums, Sam Rivers usually plays sax, sometimes plays clarinet. So that's a great record. And this one not everybody knows. Pete LaRocca was John Coltrane's drummer early on, and he did like one really famous record, which is this one, Basra. Joe Henderson on sax, Steve Kuhn, I think on guitar, Steve Swallow on bass. That is a kind of a record that not too many people knew about. Look at all these people I got. I'm gonna show you on screen if you're good enough to. Cheers, Tape Fire, Tape Fire. How do I pronounce that? All the way from North Carolina, the home of Dylan and Buffalo Records, I believe. And some guy named SK Nuts, and he says, bird up. I got news for you, Mr. SK Nuts. According to the internet, birds are not real, so I'm not sure if I can agree with you on that. Bird up, though. We'll show some bird up videos later. They're second amended. We will not be showing them on the vinyl channel. Look at all the happy campers I got watching. Appreciate it. You guys, tell me what you're up to. I appreciate you saying hi. What are you watching during the COVID? What are you watching any live streams? I'm going to show you one of my favorite live stream COVID deals here. Bear with me here. I'm going to YouTube and I'm going to show, what the heck are these kids called? The have you guys seen the quarantine kids? I gotta be able to spell. I'm gonna show you what I've been watching. Quarantine kids. As soon as this annoying ad is over, I'm gonna show you what the quarantine kids are, guys. Okay? I'm gonna bring on screen another channel. The topic is, what are you watching during the quarantine? And it's taking this thing so long. I think we're having a data problem. I hope you can't hear this stupid advertisement.
Hey everybody, welcome to my family. We're going to sing dance to the music.
How's that work? Can you guys hear that? Because now I got me talking, I got music in the background, and I got these people on TV. You're saying, why are you watching this, Greg? It's annoying. Anyway, so what that is a new channel called Colt Clark and the Quarantine Kids. And Colt Clark is a professional musician who's out of work because all the live gigs are off. So he and his 3 kids play music in their living room, and they upload a song every day. And during the course of the COVID, they've already got like 100,000 subs. And thank you for watching on your big TV, Miss Missy. I hope it's not too scary for everybody out there. So this is just one of the channels that I'm recommending to people during the quarantine. A, you're supporting a musician who's out of work because he's making money, and you're getting to learn how cool these kids are. And I'm looking for ways to support musicians during the quarantine. So check out this guy, Mr. Colt Clark, and his adorable family. It's mostly cute because the kid is so cute when she dances. And then he's got his 2 sons playing bass and drums. They're not having nearly as much fun as he is, but check out that channel. Subscribe to them. They do a different tune every day. And let's say goodbye to those 2. But, uh-oh. Can you guys hear them? This is a lot of noise. 2 bands playing at once. Miss Missy, I'm putting your comment up here because I appreciate you watching me on a TV. I'm going to wipe my face with my drying rag. Probably not cool to do that. Okay, let's clean another record. I actually like watching YouTube on the big TV. Like if you have a smart TV or an Apple TV setup or a Roku, you can watch stuff on the big TV, which is a lot of fun. I watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV, you guys. I get more out of YouTube than Netflix. There's only a few shows I watch on Netflix. Now I'm cleaning. What am I cleaning? Vivaldi. La Quattro Stagioni. That means the 4 seasons. This is Vivaldi's most famous record. Everybody should have a copy. This is Deutsche Grammophon. Herbert von Karajan, the London Philharmonic. This is one of the most famous orchestras in the world, but they're not really associated with this style of music because this is Baroque style music like Bach. It's usually done in smaller orchestras with older instruments. on Karajan is more associated with Beethoven and Brahms and big bombastic orchestral pieces, but why not? I thought I'd give it a try for $2. Deutsche Grammophon is a great label. Oh, a couple things in here to note. Okay, it's imported, made in Germany. It's an import, so quality of the vinyl is really good. And can you see this little sticker up in the corner? $6.99. The name of the record store, Licorice Pizza. That's where I used to work in the 80s. It's cool to see a remnant. Oh, shit. I scratched the crap out of the record. You guys saw it live on TV. I knocked a record over because my record rack is so full. I was balancing and leaning records onto it, so I can't do three things at once, guys. Give me a break. I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not even monodextrous. I can't even do one thing at once. Cleaning, you reverse, you go around 3 or 4 times, then you reverse it. Thank you for joining. We got more people watching. You guys actually tune in to see a guy cleaning records on the internet. That means you have very selective tastes that you would sit and watch me do this. You guys know about the SpinClean? It's actually got a recommendation and a promotion by Project. Project makes turntables. Any of you guys have Project turntables? What kind of turntables do you guys have? I have Rega. Is it pronounced Rega or Riga? I got 2 Regas or Rigas. I got 2 or 3 Techniques. That doesn't add up to the 6 or 7 you said you had. Okay, maybe I have 4 Techniques, 2 Regas, and 1 cheapo something. Let me take this off screen. Here comes Tim. Tim is here. What's Tim doing? Tim's telling me to change something. I need to get an Okinoki. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, Tim. I've been thinking about it. I get a lot of cheap records from the thrift shop, and an Okinoki is $569. So, is my family watching? What do they think about me spending $569 on a record cleaner? I've spent that much on a record needle cartridge. I hope they didn't hear that. And I spend a lot on records, guys. How many records? I have 40-something cubes of IKEA behind me. This is only one unit. I have 2 other units flanking that you can't even see. The point I'm making, Tim, is if you spend that much money on records, shouldn't you spend some money on cleaning them? You're right, Tim. And I've been thinking, should I buy an Okinoki? Or should I get one of those homemade, what do you call those things? Supersonic, ultrasonic cleaners. The ultrasonic cleaners you can get on eBay for $100 to $200. They're designed for cleaning jewelry, and then you got to get some kind of a thing to spin the records because they're designed to shove the jewelry inside and just let it clean. You need something to spin the record slowly. I've been thinking about doing that too, but I agree, Tim. Thank you. I do need to get a better cleaning situation than the SpinClean. I did a video on the SpinClean, and my main complaint is you are bathing in dirty bathwater. And would you bathe in your own dirty bathwater? Probably. What about strangers? Because these records were bought from strangers. So what's going on in the house of the old guy that donated these records? What's he doing? I don't know. Is he full of mold and mildew and smoking and dog hair? So your dirty bathwater in the SpinClean, you're sharing that bathwater with all the people who donate their stuff to the Goodwill. That sounds gross, doesn't it? Mozart symphonies 21, 22, 23, 24. Mozart symphonies are more well known. 36, 39, 40, 41. The early ones people don't even know or pay any attention to, but this is a good import from Philips, the Netherlands. Neville Mariner, Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. He's like a very well-known Mozart interpreter. So for $1, I got it at the Goodwill. So Tim, I should have asked you, do you have an Okinoki? What do you do with it? How many records have you cleaned? How do you like it? Have you used any other cleaning stuff besides Okinoki, Tim? And Okinoki, what a bizarre name. Is that the name of the company? Is that Japanese? Finnish? It's a weird name. But I'm definitely familiar with the Okinoki. It sprays and vacuums, right? It rotates, it sprays, and it vacuums. The cheapest motorized spinning or cleaning solution is the Record Doctor, and all it does is vacuum. You got to spin it by hand. It doesn't spray anything on, so you got to spray it on yourself. You got to wipe it yourself. You got to rotate itself, but it vacuums. Well, there's cheaper vacuum solutions. You can hook up your Black & Decker house vac, shop vac, to your record player, and there's guys online that sell a special attachment for $30. So, Tim, tell us more about the Okinoki if you want to. Take that off, and who else? We got Mr. Empty Glass has a Project Carbon. So, because I mentioned the Project record company, right? Is that why we're talking about Carbone? And I almost got that, but I ended up with the Riga entry-level RP1, and I had to spend money to upgrade it. So the Project Carbon is actually a better tone arm, I would say, than the RP1, because it's made of carbon fiber. I think it's weird that Riga and Project both use the name Carbon on their entry-level stuff. Riga puts the carbon, that's the name of their cartridge. They took the cheapest Audio-Technica 3600N cartridge, which you can buy anywhere for $15, and they rebranded it Riga, and they call it the Riga Carbon. And then their competitor, Project, the same entry-level $475 record player, is also called the Carbon, but for different reasons. Project uses the carbon fiber in their tone arm, and Riga uses carbon in the needle. The Stylus is actually made of carbon as opposed to metal. Weird. I took it off my Riga. Is it Riga or Riga? Anybody know? I took that off and put on the Nagaoka MP110, I should say. So my Riga RP1, I've upgraded 2 or 3 ways. I put a glass platter on. The plastic platter comes with this junk, and then I upgraded the felt mat to the wool mat, which was too staticky, and then I finally changed that to a, what do you call it, cork mat. You can buy those on the internet for 10 or 20 bucks. And then I upgraded the Nagaoka. So even though I bought an entry-level Riga turntable, I had to spend another couple $100 upgrading it. I would have been better off just buying a better Riga turntable to begin with. That's the way it goes. You don't know. What we're listening to now is a Technics vintage turntable from the 70s. Got at the Goodwill for about $30. I put a nice Audio-Technica thin line cartridge on it. It's the 95 SE, but it's been upgraded to a different needle and stylus by LP Gear. And so that's a $30 or $40 turntable and a vintage Toshiba receiver. I can't talk. From when I went to college, I spent $300 on that when I was at UCLA in the 80s. And these are some weird speakers too. Can you see the speakers? Speaker, guitar, cassettes, speakers by Sue Audio Research, HSU. They're more well known for their mega subwoofers, but they're here in California. So let's see. Empty Glass said he's got the Riga. Tell us about the project. Tell us about the project. Any good comments? What needle's on it? Did you change the needle? Did you upgrade the needle? Is this water getting too filthy? I'm going to try to get through a couple more records with this filthy water. We're going an hour, guys. An hour-long video of a guy cleaning records. That's the beauty of the internet. People will and can watch anything. I appreciate it. This is on the Argo label. I forgot to show you the record once again. Or classical. Vaughan Williams, more of the same conductor. Neville Mariner. This is a British import. This is not a budget label. This is considered a regular label. Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis. Thomas Tallis was the great composer from the Renaissance, like 1500s. But this is not chorus music. This is cello and other stuff. Just, I'll try weird stuff out. You got to get to the record store, get cooped up for 3 months. The Goodwill just opened. You just buy whatever they got. Most of the stuff at the Goodwill is junk, and all they had that wasn't junk was a dozen classical records. So that's what I got. In addition to the classical record, I bought a cassette. My son is a Massive Devo fan. He was just listening to this today. Anybody know what record this is? Devo's first record, Are We Not Men? Is this their first record? I think so. Who's that random guy in the cover? It's famous golfer Chichi Rodriguez. Big golf ball. I didn't know this was a golf ball on the cover for years. But my son instructed me on that today. A couple more records to clean, guys. Then I'm going to wrap it up because you guys have been watching, some of you, for an hour, which I can't believe. So I'm going to go put on some of these comments, which I appreciate the comments. Tim is talking about the Okinoki, which I know has a vacuum built in. You put the fluid on. Do you put the fluid on, or does it spray the fluid on itself? You put the fluid on, it rotates, and then the vacuum removes the dirt. But he's glad he didn't spend $600 on it. He got it used probably for $200 or $300. So the question about the Okinoki, you got to put the fluid on manually, squeeze it on, or does it spray it on evenly? Because ideally, the record machine should spray it on, rotate, and vacuum it off. Glad I used the word vacuum there. Okay, we're down to the last 2 or 3 records. So Tim, and then what does Empty Glass say about his record player? The project came with the Ortophon. Well, that's a nice needle. He did not upgrade. The Ortophon red. Is that like a $89, $99 needle, I think? That's a nice entry-level needle. It's nicer than the Audio-Technica 3600N that Rega puts on their stuff. At a few points, I was disappointed that I bought the Rega instead of the Project. I've got a really nice Rega. I've got the P7, which was one of the best they've made in its day. Back in the day, they had the P7 and the P9. Now they have the P, or the RP, I should say, RP8 and RP10. Grant Green beats Wes Montgomery. He does in some respects. I can totally understand it. I'm going to put that comment on the screen here. Let's let this drip dry. We're in drip dry mode here. Okay, we got a snarky comment from somebody, which is fine. Wait, off. Guess what Mr. Tim says? Tim says Grant Green beats Wes Montgomery. I think he's referring to the Battle of the Bands matchup video that I did recently, in which I pitted several big artists against each other, and I pitted Grant Green against Wes Montgomery. In the sort of history and canon of jazz guitar players, I think if you asked 100 jazz guitar players, they would probably overwhelmingly choose Wes Montgomery over Grant Green. But it's not a competition. This video was a contrived competition. Grant Green, absolutely great sounding records. Grant Green's catalog is more consistent because he did most of his stuff with Blue Note, and Wes Montgomery was kind of all over the map. In terms of the different, he recorded for a lot of different record labels, and he did a lot of stuff on Verve that was very commercial and not truly jazz. His Bumpin' record is considered the first smooth jazz record. But both immensely wonderful, talented guys, great to listen to. I think Wes will go down in history as a more accomplished guitar player. I think Grant Green has more recent fan base because of the Blue Note stuff and a more consistent catalog. I think both guys died at young ages. And, okay, down to like 1 or 2 records left. Beautiful, clean, imported vinyl. Try not to scratch it up, Greg. My record rack is doing double duty. Let me show you my record cleaning, record drying rack. I fished this thing out of the trash at the office. They were throwing it away because we don't have mail rooms and mail sorting anymore. So the kind of stuff designed for letters is kind of ancient history. I fished it out and I asked them if I could take it. Okay. Ravel's Bolero and Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition. Again by Von Karajan and the Berlin Philharmonic. Records I got yesterday did not have inner sleeves, which disappoints me, but half of them did not have inner sleeves, which I find surprising. Classical record people are usually very fastidious. I've got a great record to end this off, guys, that's not classical, so stay tuned for another couple of minutes. What does Empty Glass say? Anything else to add about Wes Montgomery and Grant Green? I just got 2 or 3 of the Blue Note Grant Greens, both tone poet, maybe not a tone poet, Nigeria, and is there any Grant Green over here? Grant Green plays on this record, by the way. 30-something work. Beautiful sounding record. What does Empty Glass have to say? Project, he already said that. I already featured that comment. So, one more record after this, guys. This is Deutsche Grammophon, Ravel's Bolero. Who's playing guitar here? Very disrespectful not to show you, so I'm going to go grab this record that's playing. You guys probably haven't even heard of this guy. White guy, Mundell Lowe. Mundell Lowe on guitar, Sam Most on sax and flute, Monty Budwig on bass, Nick Ceroli on drums, who I don't really know. This is on the PAUSA record. What does that stand for? Palo Alto, 1983. I thought it stood for Palo Alto, but it says it's from Pasadena, Glendale. This is one of those very tiny independent jazz labels that nobody's ever heard of. Very low budget, just a blowing session. I just threw this on there because I've used it in the past and didn't get copyright hits because this is such an obscure label. Low budget, as you can tell. Mundell Lowe, good straight ahead jazz, and recorded in Hollywood, July of 1983. And there's liner notes by Jimmy Lyons, the director of the Monterey Jazz Festival. Okay, Jimmy, thank you for directing me. I played in the Monterey Jazz Festival in 80 and 81, so this guy must have been in charge then. I played in a high school competition, won a trophy for playing guitar in the Monterey Jazz Festival. I should go get you the trophy. It's on the mantle over there for my brilliant guitar solo. So this guy must have been there. This guy must have been overseeing the proceedings. I don't remember seeing him, but I don't remember much from 30 plus years ago. So that's what we're listening to. I've got it on repeat, so I have to get up and change the record. Down to the last 2 records, guys. And we will be signing off, giving this the drip dry effect. What else do you guys want to say? Hope you guys are subscribing to my channel. Oh, I do want to show you something else, a relic. There's a book in here I want to show you. Where did I put the book? I showed this book yesterday, 2 copies of it. If you're into guitar players, the most recorded guitar player in all of human history is Tommy Tedesco. And I interviewed his nephew yesterday, Chris Tedesco, who's a local trumpet player. So in their family, they got several studio musicians. And Chris Tedesco is kind of a neighbor of mine. And he showed this book and talked about growing up and being influenced by Tommy and carrying on in his footsteps. And Tommy is featured in the movie Wrecking Crew. So if you play guitar, this was kind of a standard book to get in the 80s. It's still available. But I got some of my old guitar lessons in here, how to play chords and crap like that. You guys remember mimeographs? That's ancient history. So did you guys check out my interview yesterday with Chris Tedesco? We're going to be down to the last record in a second here. And I'm glad you waited because it's a bizarre record that you've never seen before. This is what I'm cleaning. German copy, Deutsche Grammophon, really clean vinyl, really nice pressing. Deutsche Grammophone's famous for great recordings, great pressings, great vinyl, and we can get them for $1 at the Goodwill. Just go for it. Even if you don't like the music, it'll hold its value, and you can sell it for $2 to someone else. Anybody here? Anybody home? Are you guys home, Sean? Just one of you or two of you? You guys had lunch? I'm on lunch. Okay, we're down to the last record, guys. Thanks for hanging out for an hour with me. This is kind of a novelty thing. I like novelty records. Leprechauns in Ireland. There's an actual leprechaun. You guys didn't think leprechauns were real. There's a real leprechaun. Waitress bringing a pint. I was in Ireland last summer. I had a lot of pints. I did not see any leprechauns, and I looked all over for them. Music for the Emerald Isle. And I hung out in a lot of pubs and saw a lot of live music. Oh, I just split the seam. It's nice. And I would say this record is too filthy to go in the SpinClean. Look at that. Look at the dirt on here. A record this dirty, I would usually take into the kitchen, and I'm going to get a wet napkin. Don't move. A record that's that filthy, you should just run under the sink, because wiping it with a wet napkin like I'm doing now is actually just grinding all kinds of grime into the grooves. Filthy, dirty, filthy record. Oh my God. I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be doing this, guys, but no one should be listening on in the kitchen. This is the last record of the day, which is good. When you're doing the SpinClean, you should do the dirty records last and the clean records first. That sounds counterintuitive. Why would you do that? Because if you ruin the water on the first record, you're done. You got to change the water. Clean records are not going to dirty the water as much as dirty records. And you can wash them twice if you have to. So I went over this with a wet napkin. This thing is filthy. And Miles says, I got a couple more comments to show you on screen. Miles says, thanks, great content. Miles Davis beats the rest of 20th century music. He saw my video on that, which I appreciate. Yes, I'm often quoted as saying that Miles Davis is the most important musician of the 20th century, most influential, etc. So Miles caught my comment on that a week or two ago. Thank you. And Miss Missy, I think, is reacting to how filthy that record is. And Empty Glass says it's time for a pint. This is the last record I'm cleaning, guys. The stack is done. So Empty Glass says a pint sounds good right now. I gotta have lunch and maybe have a pint. Great chatting with me. Check out more of my videos. Please do. Guys, I'm looking for more people who want to interview and go on camera. So if you guys have a topic you want to talk about, get interviewed, I got this software StreamYard, and I can support several people online at the same time. It's better than Zoom. It's got more features than Zoom, and the quality is better. And it streams live. So signing off here in a minute, guys. As soon as this record's clean, I'm going to shut her down. Any lasting parting comments you want to add, please let me know. I feel like I'm in a 50s lounge right now. Oh, that record is filthy. What new records have you guys got lately, guys? Nobody's told me about any new records. Maybe you haven't bought any. Went to 2 Goodwills yesterday. Got records at each one of them. There's 2 or 3 Goodwills open in my neighborhood, finally. Drip dry. We're down to the final record, the Leprechaun record. And we will be, oh, this thing is scratched up. Not only is it filthy, it is scratched, but I bought it for the cover. Did you see the Leprechaun cover? Will it fit over there? Half the time I put records up there, they fall down. Empty glass. Pint sounds good. Miss Missy says, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming and stopping by the Vinyl Rundown. An hour of a guy cleaning records. It's better than anything on Netflix, right? It's more cost effective. That's it, guys. How many records did we clean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 records. That's more than you're supposed to clean. So this water is really filthy. I can't really show you without tipping it over. Let's sign off, guys. Anybody else want to say anything before we sign off? Best new record. The tone. I do not have Lee Morgan's The Cooker. I've got several Tone Poets. I've got several Lee Morgans. I don't have The Cooker. Have you seen the Lee Morgan documentary, which I think is called I Call Him Morgan? And he died under horrible circumstances at a young age. But I will check. I've been meaning to check that one out. So, yes, I gotta get. I'm spending too much money on the Tone Poets, guys. They're $30 a piece. But then I spent $30 on cheap $1 records that I don't listen to. So, and then I had no place to put them. But good idea. Thanks for the recommendation, Tim. And I gotta shut this down, guys. An hour and 15 minutes, and my lunch has been waiting for me in the kitchen for 45 minutes. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna throw my banner up one last time. Check me out on Vinyl Rundown on Instagram and Twitter. And let's end the broadcast. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.